personal income tax. Coming to personal income tax rates, I have two announcements to make for those opting for the new tax regime. First, the standard deduction for salaried employees is proposed to be increased from 50,000 to 75,000 rupees. Short-term gains on certain financial assets shall henceforth attract a tax rate of 20%, while that on all other financial assets and all non-financial assets shall continue to attract the applicable tax rate. Long-term gains on all financial and non-financial assets, on the other hand, will attract a tax rate of 12.5%. For the benefit of the lower and the middle income classes, I propose to increase the limit of exemption of capital gains on certain financial assets to 1.25 lakh rupees per year.
Image of the day which shows the other side, the not so nice side of this country. A portion of a newly constructed bridge over the Bakra River in Bihar's Araria collapsed right before its scheduled inauguration.
In a tragic incident, a laborer was killed and 8 others were injured after 3 slabs of an under-construction bridge in Bihar's Supaul collapsed on Friday morning. 3 cars parked at Delhi's Indira Gandhi Airport Terminal 1 crushed. At least 3 people were injured after a portion of the roof collapsed early morning on June 28th. As reported by PTI, 1 person is believed to be trapped under the collapsed roof. Delhi Fire Services officials said 4 fire tenders were rushed to the spot to assist in recovery operations. The incident comes amid heavy rains in the national capital.
The police have had to open fire in Tuticorin in Tamil Nadu. This even as thousands of residents were protesting against the Sterlite copper plant. This is one of India's largest copper smelters and is a 400,000 ton per annum plant. Now, this agitation against the plant has been going on for several months. The plant has been closed for almost 2 months. A copper plant which belongs to the Vedanta group saw protests. 10 people were killed a day after those deaths and questions on whether the state police has used excessive force. There's anger on the street.
Today, it is a devastating feature that my life and your life in India seems to have no value. Indians, they take pride in saying that our country is governed by rule of law. It is a country where all citizens are equal before the law. But is that really what we see on ground? To all political science students, you would have heard of someone called John Rawls. He says, justice is the first virtue of social institutions. Very important statement. If justice is getting compromised by wealth, it will lead to loss of public trust. What is this? This is plutocracy, a system where wealthy folks like the head of Vedanta, they exercise control over political decisions. Point blank, we saw protesters who were protesting for their rights because they could not breathe clean air. The wards were all suffering with cancer, rise in cancer cases around their locality. They were protesting for it. Again, police shot them. People died because of policies of Vedanta. And today he's doubling up as LinkedIn influencer. See, what we saw is absolutely shameful and disgusting. Is justice illegal in India, the way it's happening? You're old enough to drink, old enough to drive, old enough to take 2 lives, but too young for any kind of punishment. That's what happened in Pune, right? 300 words essay is a punishment for someone with money. Why does this happen? When someone has money, they do community service. They will write essays. But if someone does not have the money, they will spend substantial years in jail. Anil Agarwal is not Indian. He acquired UK citizenship along with his family. But he identifies himself as Indian entrepreneur. Why? Because India is a huge market. India has enormous resources. And there's a way and means to which you can also lobby in India. Basis the electoral bonds data, Vedanta Group donated 230 crores to BJP. Vedanta also donated 124 crores to Congress party. So no matter which party comes to power, we will know whose rights will be violated. Those will be the rights of people of India. Take it from me, after elections, this organization will come into play. They've invested so much in Indian elections. No matter which party comes to power, you will see contracts being handed over to Vedanta. For me, the most striking feature was 12 Gram Sabhas versus Vedanta, London-based company, a giant in many ways. That's remarkable. Dongriya Konth tribe in Niyamgiri Hills faced displacement due to the proposed bauxite mining project by Vedanta. The question is, how is it possible for 12 Gram Sabhas to unanimously reject a mining project? Have you all heard of Vedanta? Thoughts around this company, Vedanta? Thoughts around the founders of Vedanta? But let me talk very briefly about Vedanta also. Hamshini, your thoughts?
I've always had a question. I mean, the development that we have today, is this what development is, where you're all confined inside houses, no fresh air to breathe?
I can put my hand on my heart and say, this is not the development.
Yeah,
People in Delhi, Gurgaon, Bangalore, that's turning into living hell. Can't breathe, kids can't go out, always being driven by algorithms. So I don't think that's the definition of development. But then what is? So it's very contextual, very subjective. There's some objective parameters. Of course, internet is needed. In some cases, human rights allows you to study so well. But how you use it, that's also very important. But from all factual standpoints, Vedanta, it's a very controversial organization. And take it from me, after elections, this organization will come into play. They've invested so much in Indian elections. No matter which party comes to power, you will see contracts being handed over to Vedanta. Vedanta has been involved in illegal mining activities. I'm not saying this, judicial authorities have said this. In 2012, the Indian government fined Vedanta for illegally mining in Goa, Western Ghats. It led to extensive environmental damage. It does not mean that I'm anti-development. But my question is, development for whom? For Anil Agrawal, the head of Vedanta. To give you more specific proofs, in 2012, Justice M.B. Shah Commission. A question was asked on Justice M.B. Shah, it will not be asked again, because it's very current affairs based question. But you can quote about Justice M.B. Shah in your means. In 2012, Justice M.B. Shah Commission reported on illegal mining activities by this organization, Vedanta. That report estimated that illegal mining has caused loss of around 35,000 crores to the exchequer. 35,000 crores. And that is bound to happen. They invest around 100, 200 crores for elections, and then they have to get the return on investment. That's how they will pay dividends. That report was very fascinating. Basis that report by Justice M.B. Shah, Vedanta did not just operate without proper leases. That's fine. Vedanta also exceeded the permissible mining limit. In simple words, companies stole India's natural resources. The illegal mining destroyed and ruined many lives, led to severe land degradation, disrupted local ecosystems, ruined biodiversity. How can you extract more minerals than permitted? In simple terms, what is it? It's stealing and loot. Those were natural resources, natural, on our land. But 35,000 crore rupees worth of natural resources extracted away. He is the founder of Vedanta. आप सपने देखोगे नहीं तो सपने पूरे कैसे होंगे? Today he is a LinkedIn influencer, giving innumerable podcasts to shady podcasters. From stealing my country's resources to tax scam. There are tax scams. Government of India has modified those scams. This company has been embroiled in many controversies. Today, many youngsters are taking inspiration from him. His Sterlite copper plant in Tamil Nadu. Anyone from Tamil Nadu? Heard of it? Very interesting proposal. Very interesting plant. Sterlite copper plant in Thoothukudi, Tamil Nadu, caused severe environmental pollution in that region. Residents reported high levels of air and water pollution. Residents report anything. Let's have some data. And Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board, it reported multiple instances where it exceeded permissible limits for emission. Still, Tamil Nadu government can have issues. The National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, NEERI, it found that air quality around the Sterlite plant was compromised. Why? Because there was elevated levels of SO2 and many other pollutants. But they can also be wrong. So Government Medical College Hospital, I think in Thoothukudi, it reported an uptick in cancer cases, particularly lung cancer. Doctors on record have said it is because of the long-term exposure to industrial pollutants. Today it is Tamil Nadu, tomorrow it could be Bihar, could be Jharkhand, could be so many other states. But who is getting again killed? The local people. First by cancer, bad air quality, and then by the police. An organ that gets money from the state. The taxes you and I pay, be it GST or whatever. Today it is a devastating feature that my life and your life in India seems to have no value. Anil Agrawal is not even Indian citizen, by the way. He's UK citizen. Let me show you another video. This one is very interesting. Not sure how many of you followed this, but this has been in the news everywhere.
Directly confronted Dr. L.N. Danvare, who is the member of the Juvenile Justice Board, who granted that bail on lenient terms to the accused minor following the Porsche crash that killed 2 innocents.
But sir, a probe has been ordered against you on the bail order, sir. What do you want to say on that, sir? No, sir.
Probe has been ordered, sir.
No.
No, but sir, a probe has been ordered. What do you want to say?
About this entire issue?
Sir,
Everything is judicial. I don't want to say anything.
Sir, judicial, but you were there as a member who have given bail at that given point of time.
Was there some money taken?
Huh?
Sir, was there some
Sir, it was. Did you had any political pressure, sir?
was there some money taken? Sir, was Stingray in touch with you?
Sir,
was Stingray touch
sir,
with
but
you?
sir. Sir, आराम से बात कर लीजिए सर. Sir, what do you want to say, sir?
I don't want to
Probe
say.
has been ordered by the state government.
Was Stingray in touch with you?
Was Stingray in touch with you?
Nobody is in touch
Sir,
with me.
any political pressure?
No.
Sir, it was a heinous crime. It was a heinous crime, but still a bail was granted, sir. It was a heinous crime. Was there So you can see this is the Mr. Dhanavade who tried to evade our question, but he says that there was no political pressure and court has agreed to the judgment that was given by him.
No helmet also. So many cases could be filed against him also. See, what we saw is absolutely shameful and disgusting. Is justice illegal in India, the way it's happening? You're old enough to drink, old enough to drive, old enough to take 2 lives, but too young for any kind of punishment. That's what happened in Pune, right? 300 words essay is the punishment for someone with money. Why does this happen? When someone has money, they do community service. They will write essays. But if someone does not have the money, they will spend substantial years in jail. And that too with questionable proofs. But do you all know under trials? The meaning of under trials? There has been a UPSC mains question around under trials. Who are under trials? Under trials, in very simple terms, are individuals who have been accused of a crime but are currently awaiting trials. In a way, they're not convicted yet. How many under trials do we have in India? I thought, let's find the data. I could not find data. I found it for 2021. National Crime Records Bureau. It states that 4,27,165 people are under trial. That is 76% of total prison population in India. If you were to put in more markers, you would realize that majority of these under trials, they come in from economically disadvantaged sections. This is a concern for humanity. When you are under trial, for a commoner like you and me, and we are under trial, it may lead to employment loss. Today, some of you cannot even take offs for UPSC preparation. Why will you be given so many offs? Your family will suffer, society will ostracize you. But 4,27,165 people, basis 2021 data, under trial. Indians, they take pride in saying that our country is governed by rule of law. It is a country where all citizens are equal before the law. But is that really what we see on ground? To all political science students, you would have heard of someone called John Rawls. He says, justice is the first virtue of social institutions. Very important statement. Justice is the first virtue of social institutions. If justice is getting compromised by wealth, it will lead to loss of public trust. What is this? This is plutocracy, a system where wealthy folks like the head of Vedanta, they exercise control over political decisions. Point blank, we saw protesters who were protesting for their rights because they could not breathe clean air. The wards were all suffering with cancer, rise in cancer cases around their locality. They were protesting for it. Again, police shot them. People died because of policies of Vedanta. And today he's doubling up as LinkedIn influencer. Plutocracy allows wealth to dictate influence and authority. With wealth, you buy media platforms. That's how you become influencers. The way we saw in the case of Pune car crash. It is concerning because when justice is compromised by wealth, the very foundation of society is at risk. Leads to frustration amongst the citizens. NCRB data is saying so many people under trial. Why are those only from economically disadvantaged background? The reason is simple, because they cannot afford bail. The video of Juvenile Justice Board judge that we just saw shows the power of wealth in India. He is one of the cases who got caught. There are so many we may not have heard of. It shows that wealthy and influential individuals, they will escape severe penalties, while legal manipulation. India is stressed with plutocracy. It's a significant threat to our democratic foundations. It was John Rawls who once said, justice is the cornerstone of social institutions. And that is exactly what we need to fight against and for, as in when you become part of civil services. When you go on to become DCPs or commissioners, you have to ensure it does not matter whether you are Salman Khan or Anil Agrawal or Zomato delivery boy. All of you are same in front of my eye. We will not order pizzas for the wealthy to dilute the alcohol content level. Your eyes should have imprints of Constitution of India. It's very critical that good people go on to occupy important positions. Only then they will question things. Otherwise, there are so many good constitutional provisions that may allow you to have some spine. It rarely happens. Humans of India should live a worthy life. First, in the name of development, they can't breathe, and when they protest, they're shot. Dongriya Kondh tribe in Niyamgiri Hills, Odisha. It faced displacement due to a proposed bauxite mining project by Vedanta Resources. My question was, how is it possible for 12 Gram Sabhas to unanimously reject a mining project? The answer lies in the power of grassroots democracy, a democracy empowered by the PESA Act. The decision that we saw was in 2013. Panchayat's Extension to Scheduled Areas Act 1996 empowered the Gram Sabhas in scheduled areas to make decisions on the use of community resources. It grants them the authority to approve or reject projects that affect their lands and livelihoods. In 2013, Supreme Court of India, it directed that the decision to allow mining in Niyamgiri, it should rest with the Gram Sabhas of affected villages. On what basis did Supreme Court give this direction? It was based on the principles of PESA. The mighty Vedanta had to bow down before PESA in 2013. Anil Agarwal is not Indian, he acquired UK citizenship along with his family. But he identifies himself as Indian entrepreneur. Why? Because India is a huge market. India has enormous resources. And there's a way and means to which you can also lobby in India. Basis the electoral bonds data, Vedanta Group donated 230 crores to BJP. Vedanta also donated 124 crores to Congress party. So no matter which party comes to power, we will know whose rights will be violated. Those will be the rights of people of India. Electoral funding is a very, very critical issue. Someone based in UK will dictate the policies in Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Himachal. So part 9 of the Indian Constitution, part 9 that deals with the panchayats, not applicable to 5th schedule areas. So to recognize the need for unique governance mechanism, PESA Act was enacted to extend the provisions of Part 9 to the 5th schedule areas with necessary modifications. There are 10 states currently. This number can increase or decrease. It is PESA Act that provides greater autonomy to Gram Sabhas. It was under the PESA Act, the Gram Sabhas of Dongriya Kondh villages, they were empowered to approve or reject the project. 12 Gram Sabhas unanimously rejected the mining project. They said it has concerns. Will affect our land, our culture, our heritage, our livelihood, and our life. Tribals in Madhya Pradesh, they traditionally depend on minor forest produce like Tindu leaves. I don't know if you have all this in other parts of India. MP, Tindu leaves, bamboo, very important. State government recognized the rights of Gram Sabhas over these minor forest produce. This allowed tribal communities of my state to collect, process, and sell minor forest produce directly. How does this help? Because here you bypass middlemen. You ensure better prices. In Telangana, several instances of land alienation had resulted in tribal lands being transferred to non-tribal people illegally. But because of PESA implementation, Gram Sabhas were empowered to take actions against such illegal transfers. Basis the PESA, they restored the lands to the rightful tribal owners. Let's look at one question.